So welcome to the first Monday Night Tourist Notebook here, and yeah, round one completed from Brands Hatch Indy. We're going to run through each of the three categories from that night, Group A, the Moderns and the Clios. Also get a few comments from the drivers themselves and also what I've noted down in my notebook. So let's start with the Group A's at Brands Hatch. It was nice and dry for them. Really nice conditions, and in qualifying it was an interesting one because Scooby G set a 47.863 second lap, but he disconnected after that, which has meant that he didn't get his pole position, because pole position was actually Edu in the end with a 48.079 second lap time. So that's been quite frustrating, really, for Scooby. Along with that, Fraser was doing some Formula drifting in his Nissan, as he normally does, as we saw near the end of last season at Alton Park. So following that, the qualifying result was Edu in first, Scooby G in second, Omega was third, Fraser was fourth, Jack fifth, Slider Gas sixth, Jamie seventh, Horace Jim qualified in eighth, Whitford ninth, Cam 10th, Ginge 11th, Shockshaft 12th, Royston 13th, Milga Slide was 14th, Envoy Extreme 15th, and Tim 78 qualified at the back. Sleep pole position lap time was a 48.079, which is a pretty good lap, but on the basis that Scooby said a 47.863, obviously a lot more to come out of those cars. So we get into the race then, and a good start from pretty much all of the drivers. Edu going into third with Scooby and Omega making some brilliant getaways. However, unfortunately not everyone was quite squeaky clean through turn one at Paddock Hill. Mirago Slide and Envoy Extreme going off into the gravel trap. It's a bit of a hard one, obviously all the cars bunch up into the first corner. Along with that, Graham Hill, Ginge and Whitford had a bit of a tap coming together. Both of them spun and went to the back, which is a bit of a shame because both of them are good and possible top 5 contenders. As we head through the race, you had Slider Gas, who went off at Clark Curve on lap 2. Very lucky not to get collected on that one. But obviously he's got the pace in the Audi, just needs the consistency and to stay on the circuit now, in my opinion. Then on lap 4, Fraser's Formula Drift antics come back to haunt him. He ended up spinning at Paddock Hill on lap number 4. That dropped him massively down the field. However, he then done it again on lap number 7. Twice. He ended up spinning at Paddock Hill. And then as he tried to get going again, the back end overtook again, causing him to lose even more time. So a bit of a dismal race for Fraser in general, to be honest. Just out the back, couldn't quite catch the field. And I got a feeling he just lost a bit of confidence with the car. Just ever so slightly lost the confidence. You just tell he wasn't quite on it all the time. So we progress through the race, everything calms down a bit. So he battles throughout the field. One in particular, Slider Gas and Ginge were having a great battle together. Slider Gas in the BMW, Ginge in the Audi. Slider Gas in the Audi. Both in the Audis, and great battle on lap 7. It was a really close, really tight, really clean as well. Really, really good to see. Heading on to lap number 9 as we go through the race, Edu ended up overtaking Omega with a cracking move at Paddock. It was a really opportunistic. Omega just about left the door a car's width open, and Edu saw it and fired that Nissan straight down the inside of the Audi. Absolutely brilliant move, probably move of the night actually, that one. Absolutely fantastic. And that battle kept on going. There's about 6 cars at this point looking at the leaders, battling away. All of them potentially could win it. It was brilliant to watch. Then on lap number 10, Omega returns the favour a lap later, sets up Edu through Paddock Hill, and then completes the move coming out of Druids. Really, really well raced between them. But unfortunately for Edu, it was to be the last lap that he was to battle the lead for. I mean, he's had so much bad luck, and in season 11, and it just looks like it's continued into season 12. I mean, just ran slightly wide at Paddock Hill. Not Paddock Hill, sorry, at Clearways, and yeah, that was it. He was down in 7th, 8th place then, and couldn't really get back up to the leaders. Along with this, Cam was, on lap 11, was the leading two-wheel drive, because with this category you've got 2 4-wheel drive and 3 rear-wheel drive cars in it. A lot of people choosing the 4-wheel drive cars because they're much easier to drive, get better traction, better acceleration, everything about them is just quicker. However, a couple of people, Cam and Whitford, both driving rear-wheel drive cars. And Cam unfortunately spins at Druids. When we say spin, he kind of spun it and went into the barrier on the inside. Which took him out of that leading 7 for looking at the win. And later on he was to do it again and effectively lose the 2-wheel drive battle. So not what he was looking for in reality. On the same lap, on lap 11, Jack got tapped around through Clearways, causing him to spin. Tapped into a spin for Jack, and that kind of ruined his battle there on chances for the race win. It was a bit of a shame, but he would have a surprise at the end of the race, put it that way. As we continue on through the race into lap 14, you had Jamie, Scooby and Edu all battling for the low-end podium positions for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It was brilliant to watch. All of them really tight as you like until lap 15. That's when it kind of got a little bit interesting. On the stream we swapped to Druids, that little battle, because there was an accident. You had Edu and Jamie both backwards, both spinning in the entry to Druids. Don't know what caused it, but it was a fantastic battle brought to an abrupt end, quite frankly. Big shame, but interesting accident. Obviously, then you had going on through the race, Slider Gas, take a bow, me son, 50 points I'm going to give you. You managed to hit one of the advertising signs, not on purpose, so you're going to get my first 50 point board hit bonus. Not that it makes any difference to the championship, obviously, it's just a little thing I like to add in, because why not? It's a board hit. We always like some boards being hit around. So really good effort by him. So you're on my leaderboard now with the commentary's bonus points giveaway. At this point, Omega had gapped the field already by about 3-4 seconds. So he was just keeping the gap there, just making sure he didn't lose too much time, in essence. As we move on to lap number 20 of the 25, Whitford, Sean and Shockshaft had a good couple of lap battle, really. All starting on up lap 19, really, and continuing to lap 20. Whitford was to come out on top of that battle, overtaking him into Graham Hill Bend. Good move. All done through Paddock Hill and Druids, all side by side into then into Graham Hill. Like I said, brilliant move. Couldn't ask for a better battle than that for a midfield position. But generally, at the start of the race, Jack was a bit of a bottleneck for everyone else. He was losing time to Edu, losing time to Omega, who were at the front. Then all of a sudden, he just picked up a little bit, just kept on going, and the end of the race is where it gets really interesting, because after the battles of Omega and Edu at the start, Jack holding everyone up, and then everyone coming together, and all the accidents coming around, the race result was very, very mixed compared to what it could be. I mean, Omega won. It's a perfect start to a championship defense. Then RS Jim was second. He was originally third, and Jack came home in third. Now, Jack was fifth crossing that line. He knew he had Jamie. He was behind Jamie. He knew he had Jamie on the penalties because Jamie had a 2-second penalty. What he didn't realise was Scooby had a 4-second penalty. It was originally 2 until about the last couple of laps. And Scooby got a 4-second penalty, putting Jack up into third and Scooby into fourth position. Absolute blinder. I mean, Jack couldn't believe it. We spoke to him after the race in chat, and he couldn't believe it. He was well happy with it. So then Scooby came fourth, Jamie fifth. Edu ended up sixth in the end, so a good effort by him after the troubles he suffered. He had a 2-second penalty. Whitford came home a respectable, very, very respectable position here of 7th, and also top 2-wheel drive. That's a good thing to have. Top 2-wheel drive against Cam. I think Cam was the only one really to have a... Oh, sorry, Melgo Slide also had a rear-wheel drive car. But Whitford was the top 2-wheel drive in his Ford. Slidergas came home in 8th with Royston 9th. Shockshaft ended up 10th. 5-second penalty didn't affect his result. Cam, after what could have been a really good race, had unfortunate accidents here and there. He ended up being in 11th with a 2-second penalty. Again, didn't affect him. Fraser, absolutely awful race. He couldn't have asked for a worse start to the championship. He was like Formula Drift around most of the corners, and I think he did end up losing confidence in that car. He ended up losing confidence, and he only ended up 12th. Ginger ended up 30th. He admitting that not enough practice was the cause of that. Milgo Slide was 14th. Envoy Extreme finished the race in 15th, 2-second penalty. Tim unfortunately retired after doing 12 laps. I think the car not working as he wanted, and yeah, just couldn't get on with the track and the car together. Now, a few things from the drive. So we had respect to Whitford. He felt that round 1 was pretty slippery for the Sierra, but no unforced errors, and he did finish 2 places higher than he started, so that's always a good thing to have. But apparently the tyres for the Sierra were red after 3 or 4 laps around Brands Hatch, so he turned off the HUD so he didn't worry about it. I mean, a fantastic solution there. He didn't remember any problems or incidents because obviously he also raced in the Moderns and the Clios, but obviously that one slight touch with Ginge, I think he didn't actually have any incidents at all actually. One with Ginge on lap 1 where it's all really bunched up, but other than that, really, really clean race from him. He actually rated the race a 7 out of 10, which is good. He doesn't enjoy Spa. I don't think he enjoyed the BMW. He drove that last season. I don't think he's going to get on very well there. Obviously in the BMW single make as well next race as well, and that means everyone has to drive it, and apparently the BMW is Whitford's go-to car for P Cars 1, but it's not for 2. But as he rightfully says, everyone is in the same boat. And what he got his only win his only win on his debut last season in the BMW, so possibly undermining his own performances. His expectations around it, he's going to be happy with the top 5 in that BMW, and I think that's perfectly achievable for him. The host, Jack, thought round 1 went pretty well. It could have been better, but contacts causing that early on. However, he was hoping for a top 5 to start the season off. Obviously, gradually went into the wheel last season, starting with the wheel this season. So to have a podium for him is a great way to start the season. Any positive incidents for him? And he said that he did have contact with Scooby and Jim. However, Jim was not to blame, just nowhere to go, and I think Scooby just a bit little bit of bunching, really. But aside from that, no issues for him or the car for a change. I mean, that could be because he's starting with the wheel this time, no changing. He loves these things. 9 out of 10 for the rating. He couldn't be happier with that. Round 2 at Spa, the BMWs. We asked if he liked the track, and he loves Spa. He's never won a league race there around there. So, it always seems like he gets bad luck or disconnections. So he's hoping that the curse leaves him alone this time at Spa, because he does enjoy the circuit. And he also likes the BMW. The base, that the base setup has a tendency to understeer, and it suits his driving style a bit more, although he reckons it will be difficult to deal with the tyre wear around the long sweeping corners such as Pouon, where the understeer will stab away at the tyres pretty badly. His expectations for round 2, he will be happy with the top 5 finish, so he also thinks the grid will be a little bit more spread out, but should be a fun race. And the other person we spoke to is Cam13 Diz. He didn't think his pace was too bad, to be honest with that, Mark. Track that favoured other cars, so he was happy with the pace. And in the race, he made a good start and a couple of places, and again was hanging on to the lead groups. However, he obviously caught them when they battled. Unfortunately, very slight contact with Jim put him into the wall. Race over effectively for him, but overall not bad for him. He's looking forward to tracks where the Merc will be a bit stronger. He rated the race a 6, so he said okay race. He thinks Spa's a brilliant track as well. He's looking forward to it, and he's driven the BMW once, so all he knows is it's slow pulling away. So completely new territory really for Cam. And his expectations for round 2, he's hoping for a podium finish. He'll be happy with a podium finish. But obviously, next round for the Group A is at Spa. So join us on Monday, the 13th of August for that one. We move now on to the modern touring car part of the notebook. And quite frankly, another cracking race. Omega ended up qualifying on pole with a 46.940. So compared to the Group A's, about 1 and a bit seconds quicker. Although if you take into Scooby's 47.8, only 0.8 in reality. And so then the grid ended up being Omega, RS Jim, Edu, Fraser, Scooby, Jamie, Ginge, Slider Gas, Jack, TM53 Snotzes obviously, Engine Martin, Royston was in 11th, Whitford, Tim 78, Suzuki RMZ, J47PT, and Salsor Records. So as we entered the race, Salsor Records actually disconnected, so it didn't start, or he left. So going into lap 1, off the start line, immediate carnage. Absolutely immediate carnage. Looked like Omega got tapped from behind, and that sent him round the wall in front of everyone of the field. And I'm amazed there wasn't a bigger collision after that. I'm surprised that no one T-boned Omega. But that put Omega down into P15 and last. So definitely not what he was looking for. But as we go on through lap 1, Jim got a slowdown coming out of Graham Hill Bend, and he was in position 1. And unfortunately this caused a little bit of a tap from Whitford going into clearways, as he was still quite slow. Whitford, obviously not quite suspecting it, ended up hitting him, and Jim just going off at clearways put it in the barrier. But again, I don't think there's much Whitford could have done from it. But as we go through lap 1, Ginge and Martin both off at Clark. We don't know what happened with it, but both of them were off and slowing at the back of the pack after that. Going through the race though, in lap 3, Fraser passed Edu at Surtees for position 1, and from there Fraser just dominated the race. He got away, and that was game over for the rest of the pack. I mean, the Renault Esports finalist in a McGann just absolutely walked away with it in the end. Going through the lap 4, Jamie tapped Edu, and a hell of a save from Edu, keeping the throttle pinned, keeping the car in check. Jamie ending up then giving the place back to let Edu pass, which is perfectly what should have happened. That put Jamie down to P5 then, so he had a bit of work to do. On the next lap, Edu tapped slider gas going into Graham Hill. That caused him to have a bit of a spin and nowhere to go for Jamie F430. So Jamie F430 went into Edu accidentally, forced Scooby wide as well going through. Then Jack had nowhere to go in his Astra and pretty much head-on collision with Edu. Again, nowhere he could have gone, nothing he could have done about it. That put Edu down into P11 then. It was looking like a struggle for the Spaniard. His bad luck just keeps on coming. Into lap 7 then, and Scooby ended up passing Jamie. And then Jamie re-overtook him on lap 8. And on the same lap, Suzuki RMZ got caught on the grass going into Paddock Hill. Not a place he wanted to be, as he found out as he went screaming into the barriers, causing him to lose a few positions. Omega ended up passing Jack for P5. Remember, this man was P15 and he hadn't even got to the first corner. He went from pole position to P15 and he was back up to 5th by lap 13. It was a phenomenal comeback drive from the defending champion. Jamie ended up going down to P9, we don't know why, but he ended up down there as of lap 16, so obviously some sort of mistake. Scooby went up to P2, Slider Gas having to go down a position for that as he overtook him through Druids. Good move actually from Scooby, nice and clean all the way through. Then Jamie ended up passing Whitford on lap number 20 before some mistakes again. But overall, generally, Fraser ended up dominating and ditching the field. Jim and Edu had to try and battle back, but obviously at the end Edu ended up parking as he went into the barriers at Graham Hill Bend. And Jack, shout out to Jack, because he's in that Astra and he done phenomenally well. That Astra is not the quickest car by any means. I mean, that's why everyone's in the McGann and the BMW. A few of them are now in the Astras trying to get a bit of different cars in there, but the way it works, it's not very good. But ending up Fraser winning the race from Scooby, who had a 1 second penalty, didn't affect him. Omega ended up third, slightly gassed with a 1 second penalty, again didn't affect any results. Orange Jim was 6th crossing the line, but ended up 5th because Jack picked up a 2 second penalty going across the line. Jack was 5th, but ended up being 6th, which is a bit of a shame because that would be a really good start for him, a top 5 in that Astra. Whitford finished 7th, Royston 8th, Ginge 9th again, lack of practice. Martin 10th, was 11th, but Jamie had a 4 second penalty, so he dropped down. Suzuki RMZ finished 12th, a good driver, really, considering he came back this season, didn't do all the races last season. J47PT ended up 13th, good real start for him. Tim, not last, in 14th, had a 6 second penalty, and Edu 15th with a 10 second penalty. So that was the moderns. Now, some of the driver responses, have a look. Jamie FL30. About the round 1 started well, gradually got worse. And just a number of stupid mistakes from him causing his demise. For him, he rated the race a 3 because he just didn't have a good one. He loves Spa, and he thinks that the Megane is far superior to the BMW, and he's expecting a top 3 from Spa. Whitford 0. Thought round 1 didn't go too bad. Gained 4 positions from qualifying, so it being 5 positions from qualifying actually. Just qualified 12th, finished 7th, so really good, fairly consistent race for him. No real mistakes. Got pushed wide in a couple of turns, through turns 1 and 2, but he's a bit unsure. So you're always going to get that with the Tour car. It's going to get a bit push wide. It's going to be door-to-door racing. He rated the race 7, so it was a good race for him. Round 2 at Spa. Obviously, we've already said he doesn't enjoy it. He loves the BMW though. He not quite got the pace for the Renaults, but he reckons it's more fun, and it does look better if you can win in that thing, because you've upstaged a massive OP car. He'd like a top 5 finish for Spa, but he's aiming for top 8 for the season, so he's aiming for a top 8 finish in the championship, but a top 8 for the next race, so hopefully he'll get there. Suzuki RMZ found round 1 good. So a few people were just struggling with a bit of spatial awareness, but on the whole, good race. We're going to get that a bit rusty after a few weeks break. So rated a race 9, so I think he does enjoy the moderns. He enjoys Spa, and his first time in the Astra, and he's saying it handles how it should, so good signs for the upcoming races for Suzuki RMZ. And he wants to battle around 10th place, where his ability is, he says. I reckon he could be battling higher up as the season progresses. I mean, everyone gets better and better. Ginge, the host, he thought round 1 went very poor for him. No practice, so well off the pace in the races. Got collected by a couple of incidents, shall we say. I went off to the back, in the race. We rated the race a 6, so not good, not brilliant, just an okay race. He enjoys Spa, but he's not the best around there. And he's just saying the car is fine, it's him that's the issue. His expectations for round 2 are fairly low, unless he gets some practice in, so very much a practice dependent result there. Fraser, the man who walked away with it. How did he feel round 1 went? One word for him, and that was awesome. He had no incidents, no problems. He rated it a 6, probably because he was off out in the lead. He loves Spa, and he loves the Renault Megane. He finds it so fun in that machine. He expects pole and first from round 2, so very, very high expectations for Fraser. We'll keep that in mind for Spa. Jack saying it went as well as it could in the Astra. Astra felt pretty limited compared to the Megane and the BMW apparently. So, limitations there. 2 instances that he couldn't avoid. One of them on lap 2, Scooby Ginge. Martin had a collision, he had nowhere to go. The second was Edu spun around. Mostly Jack ploughed into him. But aside from that, good clean race for him. Rated at an 8. Round 2 Spa, we already know he enjoys Spa. Again, very bad luck. Now, he changed car this season to the Astra. There are definitely limitations in terms of grip, he's saying, compared to the Megane. However, it is a fun car to drive despite it being so, and that's what it's all about. It's all about having a bit of fun. If you're having fun, you're doing well. And for his expectations in round 2, he's hoping for a top 8 finish, as the Astra has a straight line deficit compared to the BM and the Megane. So he thinks it's going to be tough to hold on to positions on the Camel Straight, but he's hoping the chassis can make a difference as the corners are pretty fast compared to the slow turns at Brands Hatch. So that's some of the drivers' point of views from round 2 of the moderns. Obviously round 1 for the moderns. Round 2 being at Spa on Monday the 13th of August, so do join us for that one. Now the final one is the Clios. Now, this one's a bit harder for me to do a notebook on because I actually compete in these Clios. And I love them so much. They're brilliant, brilliant car to drive. So, based on what I saw, this is how I can do my notebook. So the qualifying result ended up with Omega getting pole with a 50.599. Then you had Cam 123 Diz, Edu, Martin, Whitford, Jim, Scooby, Jack, Fraser, Ginge, Jamie, Slider Gas, Suzuki RMZ. Then I qualified in a pretty bad 14th position there. It wasn't good. I mean, I'll explain my point of view later on. Then you had Royston in 15th and Tim in 16th, so a good grid to be on. It's a really tough grid as well. Really, really good guys in that grid, really quick. As far as the race goes, lap 1, turn 1, Jack, Scooby and Fraser, something happened at the front, and that caused those 3 guys to go off at Paddock Hill. Looks like some sort of spatial awareness or bunching going on into Paddock Hill. On the same lap, Slider Gas and Suzuki came together at Clearways, and Ginge ended up having a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. In lap 2, Martin clipped the grass at coming into Clearways, so he had a bit of a half spin. Slider Gas had an off at Paddock Hill, and that dropped him down to position 10. On lap 4, Omega was off at Druids and dropped into position 9. Omega then made a mistake to drop down to position 10 a lap later. But overall, a good solid race, I would have said. There's a lot of close battling up front all race long. There's about 3-4 of them, consisting of RSGM, Cam123 Diz, Jamie and Edu, all fighting together all race long. It's brilliant to see the timings on it. Me and Ginge had a good battle for 12th, and I felt Slightly Gas, Suzuki and I also had some good battles. So it ended up being the race result of RS Jim winning. He was second. Cam123 Diz was third, but came home in second because Jamie had a 2-second penalty which he was not happy with. Jamie would have won the race otherwise. Edu came home in fourth with a 1-second penalty. Whitford 5th, Scooby 6th, Fraser 7th after good comeback from Scooby and Fraser. Omega came back up into 8th and Jack 9th, so good comebacks for all 4 of those drivers. Ginge ended up 10th after his drive-through, so again a good recovery. Suzuki 11th, I ended up 12th with a 1-second penalty. Slider Gas was 13th with a 5-second penalty. Royston 14th, Tim 78 was 15th, and Martin retired on lap 18. So a few of the drivers' comments. NGR Tim 78 here. how did he feel round 1 went? He said, bad. Let's put it that way. He used another word, but bad. But fun. So he does find it fun. Did he have any instance problems? He said is bad, in quotation marks, driving, and a bit of a tap in the rear, just causing him to maybe go off a little bit. Rated the race an 8 though, so thoroughly enjoyable. He says Spa's not a bad track. And his expectations from round 2, I think, is a bit harsh for him to be saying this, but he says finish last with question marks. Wayford 0. Good man coming back to us on all 3 of these. And he thought pretty good result for round 1, 5th overall. He's fighting for 2nd before someone got glued to his rear quarter, unfortunately, on the 4th or 5th lap. But in the end, a good top 5 finish to start his season in the Clios. Rated the race at 8. Again, Spy doesn't enjoy it. They say it could make for a long train at the front though, so a lot of slipstreaming. The expectation from round 2 is not as high, being Spa, but he'd be happy with a P5, which I think is very doable for him. I mean, there's a very tight field. Fraser came back to us on this as well, saying that round 1 could have gone better for him. In lap 1, corner 1, he got stuck between 2 cars, nowhere to go, so causing a bit of faff. Rated it at 2 because, I mean, it wasn't great for him. Spa, he says, who doesn't like Spa? Well, Whitford. And his expectations for round 2, again, pole and win. That is his expectation from the Renault Sport finalist. Now, from my point of view, I thought round 1 went pretty well for me. I mean, not as fast as I'd like, but again, I am trying to use a controller at that sort of time. So I know I'm not going to be quick anyway. But qualified 14th, a bit disappointed with that. Made up 2 positions in the race, 12th though. Some good battles with Suzuki, with Slider Gas, Ginge as well, who is in the same colours as me, livery-wise, just with a different coloured rear wing. So I thought it was really good. I managed to have a little bit of a battle with Fraser, Scooby with the top guy, so really okay start to the season. Just got to get into it a bit more from my point of view. I would rate it a solid 7. It was a good race to begin with. Didn't really have any incidents. I just got a 2nd penalty for running a bit wide somewhere. Now, Spa for me is a brilliant circuit. I love it. Absolutely love Spa. So, definitely one I'm going to enjoy. And my expectations, well, I kind of want to get a top 10. That's my aim. I want to be in the top 10. I know I'm not going to be quick in qualifying, but I think top 10 in the race, and I think I'll be happy with that. So, again, the Clio's around Spa on Monday the 13th of August. Hopefully you'll join us then. But for me and the Monday Night Tourist Notebook, I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If leave some comments about it. It'd be nice to hear your thoughts and what you want added to it or taken away. But this is the first Monday Night Tourist Notebook after a race, so thank you all for listening to it, and I will catch you on the next notebook. But from me, thank you for listening, and goodbye.